Hello, my friends, and welcome back once again. Hambbage here, and boy, am I glad to have you guys around, and glad to be playing some hardcore Minecraft. Let's get going. Yeah, this is gonna be a little resting therapeutic for me. I am pretty well, good and done, filled up with drivers and all that kind of stuff. As anybody who's worked systems up from from the bare bones can appreciate. The very, very, very good news is the system, the PC that many of you guys have heard about over the weeks, years, feels like it. Um, Over recent weeks, has stayed up. We got it running dual monitors last through the day yesterday and last night. Worked like a champ, no issues. So today's edition was going to be audio. I was going to plug in the speakers, make sure that there's no issue there, and then we're pretty confident. We're looking into building up some software and that kind of stuff. And so I go and plug everything in, and yeah, no dice. So that you guys know, and so I remind myself, today's activity is whoa. Sorry, let's keep this. I don't know if that was loud for you guys. It was loud for me. Get this dialed back down a little bit. Um, Today's activity is going to be skellies and getting them going in that farm, primarily for the arrows. And this is not going to be, because it's so low, it's only a few blocks above bedrock, really. We're just going to push them into a spot and hopefully have enough room that we can go down and chop at their feet. They won't be damaged. And before anybody feels a need to comment or start in, I've done the farms. I definitely get how to use darkroom spawners, and I certainly appreciate that we could use a water elevator to lift mobs up 22 blocks, drop them back down again, and get them down to one hit. Unfortunately, we haven't been to the nether yet. So we don't have soul sand, which is a critical element to that plan. So I appreciate the recommendations and the feedback in advance, but yeah, this one's going to be inefficient. We know that going in. So no problem there. Just something to be aware of for you guys, because I know it can be frustrating to see a farm that's not at max efficiency, and we'll make it ideally so that we could switch it out. Of course, by the time we do that, it's probably not going to have a whole lot of need for it anymore. But it should be in proximity to our base here. We'll be in the area a lot, so it might be running and filling quite a bit, which is kind of handy. Anyway, let's get down and get the excavation part going. I'll try to remember all the pieces. Basically, we're making a big square room around the spawner, and then we are going to use water to push them all into a specific hole where we can mash them good. If I can remember how to get back, that's the biggest challenge here. Now, was it down here? Am I doing this right? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Or was this just where we wanted to come? Yikes. Here's spawner. It's background behind here. Dang it. So as I said, we're gonna gather up coal, which we need very badly while we're down here. Did I just go the wrong way? Was I just remembering the path back to those cave spiders? Maybe it was the other way. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna wander around and um, grab some coal and hunt for that spawner. And once we find it, then we'll go. Because it's so so simple. It's going to be a very quick build. And we may just have something to do while we're well, yeah, because just like a darker spawner, right? The only real factor there is time. You got to wait for the mobs to spawn up and fill up. So I guess while we're slowly wandering around looking for that, may as well fill in. So this morning I got up. I was very excited to do this build and get it started. And I'm actually now I'm like totally jammed up in my day. There is there's the European Championship, national level championship game today between England and Italy. And those of you guys who know my background know which side I have a very close connection to and who I will be pulling for. And that's something that is worth watching. Again, my dad would be in the same boat. He totally understands. If it comes down to it, I'm an American. I'm cheering for the USA. But it's really cool to have England in the championships, and I hope they get that. Those things don't come along very often, and if you are in Europe, you know just how big it is to make it. It's kind of one of those. It feels a little weird, and it always does when you're the home team, and you kind of they. I'm not discrediting their team chemistry seems to be uncommon for the England squad, and their ability to, as a team, it's not just a crazy goaltender, it's not just the backfield or anything. They have a just. It seems like in their DNA, they are all committed to not letting the little things lead to goals against. And I hope they can keep that up one more game. We'll see. This will be the big test. If they can hang with Italy, then they're fully vindicated for playing most of their games at home, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to sit on that if you take down Italy in the championship. It's yours. You earned it. So we'll see. But I want to definitely see that, and already I know in this episode I'm gonna push that time. So I'm like, but I mean, also it's soccer. While some of their games have had goals very early. Was it a couple games ago where they played? I think it was the game before Denmark, maybe, where they scored a goal in the first minute and then they scored another one like right at the beginning of the second half, and those were kind of it. Then they ended up scoring a lot more. So maybe that was the Denmark game. But yeah, if you missed those, you kind of missed all the action. This one, I'm not going to see the beginning because I'm going to be talking to you guys. But I really plan to start this episode 2.5, almost 3 hours ago. And then I went to check on the PC, and I was so happy. It was sitting there. It's still I racked up a bunch of YouTube watches on these videos because I've basically just been nonstop running them from anonymous YouTube, which is hey, I think lots of people do that more consciously than I do. I don't really bother with all that too much, but it'll be nice to have a little bump. Maybe YouTube will then decide that they want to share recommendations with more people. okay, here's our stairs. So we came back around. Was it down here? No. Oh man, this is embarrassing. This is why I write down the stupid coordinates. We know it's here somewhere. Well, this seems like a big waste. Get the coal though. So anyway, I'm gonna keep trying to tell my story. Not that it's just the tedium of building machines. So everything been working great, and I added in the second monitor, so we're now up to keyboard and mouse, wireless, and two monitors. Is that all I had built up in there so far? I guess so. Um, so I added in the second monitor, and I have two Samsung 27-inch monitors. The older of the two is the HDMI, or man, whatever that old pinned monitor connection is. I never remember the names very well. Um, and it's older, so it's going to be the secondary monitor, right? And it'll be the one where I have the uh, OBS window up and can watch to make sure I don't have slides and things up in front as I'm recording. All those good things. But because of that, and just, the monitor it is, even though it's HDMI enabled, it does not have any kind of an audio out, which is normal. That's not a knock on the monitor at all. That's how they're supposed to work. But my newer monitor, oh, was that it? No, that was just, dang it. Um, the newer monitor does have an ear headphone jack in it because it's got HDMI, right? It just makes sense. It's kind of a later feature on monitors, and it's so underused. I never once thought about it, never even bothered to look. And I've had the first of those monitors for years, set up on various PCs. It's just kind of been using it alone. So the newer one has a headphone jack. I'm like, oh well, okay, because ripping out what remaining hair I have because the system doesn't see my sound card, which is I don't know, it's a Asus Zonar with an X, DGX series, I think. So it's old, it's old. It was in there. It was probably what I needed. And again, I'm not an audiophile. I'm not entertaining. Oh, this is why we needed all that coal so bad. I'm not out there entertaining the masses with audio. I want to be able to hear stuff. I want to, if I play some music or a movie or a game or something, I want it to sound good. I don't want it to sound like garbage. But that's about the extent of it, right? I'm not worried about every sound and mixing music or anything like that. So again, what it is, but right now I have no audio, and that I plugged in my speakers. I've got it's a Logitech, old, again equally old as the monitor probably. It's a subwoofer with two wired speakers that come out of it, and it's got a little power control volume mute button thing on it for a desktop. It's kind of like a little remote control. All right, what way do we want to go now in search of this thing? This way, maybe? Yeah, I think it's going to be outside our little grid of... Here's Skeleton Spawner. Try to clean a little of these things. Oh, man. Try not have to take out all the torches. These up a little bit as we go. So, wired speaker thing, old, nothing fancy, but you know, a little better than just your typical headset, right? It's got subwoofer, so it kicks a little more bass and everything. You know, just nice. And I've used it for 10 years, maybe around there. Just fun. Everything I need. You know, again, I'm never been the guy that's like, oh, I need to have the super crazy stereo or anything like that. So that's where we just came from. So when I got started here, this morning, I plugged it in and nothing. No audio, no nothing. The speakers themselves, you can hear you know, just like any stereo, when you make the connection, you can hear the little pop if you put your finger on the little knob. So when they're powered, you know there's something going on. I know this isn't where the spawner is. I just want to light that up a little bit. Leave that as is. Can't see much back there, although we've probably been back there already. Is this the way we just came from? But nothing special here. Let's get the coal. Ooh, we are down to bedrock. This one. So I think we're probably too low. Sorry. I'm trying to equally parts trying to remember where the skeleton spawner is and remember, think about and not get frustrated by the PC. Okay, we've done that, we've done that, we've done that. I think we're clear down here. What was that, hour? I think that was from back when the cave spiders were still going. So I don't need to worry about that too much. Was there anything other than this awesome coal? So anyway, a very, 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 very wandering story here. When nothing happened when I plugged in the speakers and they didn't even get detected, I found that the system was trying to dump all the audio out the HDMI connection, the cable going to my secondary monitor. And again, the video card that I has a single HDMI out, and then two whatever they are, like digital video or something like that. I hate the fact that I can't remember any of these names. HDMI, for whatever reason, stands out. But so there's a bunch of different connectors, and the other one looks a lot like an HDMI, but only one corner of it is kind of inset. And my card has 3 of those, I believe. So lots of capacity to have lots of cool monitors and cooked up. But let's just run down here. We'll come back to get that. Okay, nothing else down there. Totally lost totally lost the skeletons. We know they're out there somewhere. See, this is where if I was streaming, somebody would already have pulled up the old video and been like, "All right, you go back to the stairs, and then you take a left, and then a right, and then a left, and then a right, and then it's right there. You can't miss it." Um, but we don't have that, so we'll find it. No worries. So the uh, both monitors have HDMI ports on them, but the older monitor does not have the digital DP or something like that output input. It's only got an HDMI and the old pinned connector. The video card does not have the pinned connector. It only has the one HDMI and then a bunch of the DP or whatever they are, which are just basically, they're designed for monitors, and they're what I had to go get an extra cable for. I think I've shared all this when I was a couple weeks ago now when I was getting set up with the system. Because most monitors don't have an audio out, there's not much need really. HDMI is great going into TVs and connecting that kind of stuff because it carries both digital audio and video and can handle all that. Whatever this other one is, the DP connector. We'll call it the DP connector. I don't think that's right, but that one doesn't carry audio. It just carries video, and again, it works awesome for video, no problem at all. So it's perfect the way I have them. I have the one set up on HDMI, which is the connection it can support. The card has a spot for it, and then the newer one gets the little DP connector, and it's happy. It has everything it needs to support. And had the PC not done its little crashy deal, we would have been just fine running in that config. We were, aside from the times that it crashed. We were all very good and happy. Now we're just really begging to get super lost. Come on. Ugh. I got 2 blocks left, so of course, misplace one. Alright. That saves us the water pollution. So anyway, it turns out my audio card, which is this Asus Zoner DGX card, is old enough, I guess, because when I first got this system, I think it had 10 right out of the gate, but I may have had to upgrade it after. Either way, it doesn't appear that, having taken Windows all the way down, that the initial drivers see that hardware. So it sees something there. I can go into my device manager and go, show me the things, and under that bus, it has unregistered audio device or something like that. So it knows that there's a sound card there, but it would appear that Windows doesn't know what to do with it. So this is where the hours and the frustration come in. So the first thing I do, I kind of jiggled around with trying to move ports and stuff. I verified that this headset and mic, when plugged in through USB, works just fine. So it's not that the system can't do audio or anything quite like that. It's anything trying to go through that card. And of course, because the card doesn't have USB ins or outs, it's not going to handle that. Then it's just on the board, and the board's like, okay, yeah, I can handle this. I know what to do with sound. So that all works. It kind of all ancillary, but much as I love recording stuff for you guys, and that would be the primary thing, still doesn't mean that I always want to be wearing a headset. If I'm, editing something or doing that, I'd just as soon be able to not wear the headset and listen to it just over some speakers that I already have and have worked in the past. But no, the system doesn't have enough on board, and that can happen. It just means, okay, it's older hardware. It's not currently there. You got to go back. So then it becomes load up all the AMD optional drivers to hope that that helps. And there was like a media one that I've now installed, so that should be good. There's a number of others that were also run. Another feature update from Windows, but of course, all these things are going forward, right? It's a backwards deal. So you get all that done, and it still doesn't know the card. Okay, well then, and this is what all the tech tips and everything would point you to. If still not recognized, go to the manufacturer's site and obtain the drivers from them. Every whatever you're working with or building, you're gonna find that the creator of those makes the drivers available. So that was the next. Yeah, let's just use some of these down here because I don't want to run. No, we'll put them up in the boat garage, maybe make that transportation garage. Um, so I go to the website. Like at this point, the whole case of the system is open because I need to get visibility. I need to, I didn't know what the type or device was for the audio card, so I had to go through and you know, headlamp and camera to read the little sticker on it to find out what the device type was and all that kind of stuff. I mean, just endless frustration here. But I do all that because I'm a good, diligent person. And then I go to the website and I look. Of course, it's not their latest and greatest, so they're not prominent with it. But I track back to here it is. Download the driver, all those steps, which are so much fun, and then I'm seemingly good to go, right? And what did I take? Oh no, I got coal over here. Only 3, but download the driver, get it all installed. It always feels shady, whatever, go through it. And I'm still working in like a totally unconfigured Windows too. I'm in the account owner that the the guy set up, and hoping that once all this gets done, I can just add my own user and go back to set it up. I've got to activate Windows and all that, but I'm sure not doing that until everything's good, right? So we go round and around and around. I get all the driver stuff downloaded, run the little installer thing. When it goes through, I license agree, all that kind of stuff. Install, and it runs for like half a heartbeat, and then goes no device detected, or the DG is not there, or something like that. Install will close. Just come on, really? So just looking, there's every update of everything with Windows along the way, all have a million, so like 2013 through 18, tons and tons and tons of forum postings and, various sites and all that, all listing out. If you have trouble with this device, blah, 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 it's probably in your chipset driver set. So again, that's where I went back and made sure I was fully up to date on AMD. Ooh, hang on. Where are you, friend? Trying to drag me outside here in the rain. Is he up high? Oh, there you are. Oh, you're stuck in the hole. What's up, buddy? That is incredibly unexciting. Wow. Um, Now that I've got a slime and made my own, of course, I'm gonna steal your weeds because you stole my attention and my time. Get in the boat. One lead. What? Oh, because you're already... Okay, you need to go out that way. Oh, come on. Everybody out of the... Oh, that means it's nighttime. To be continued. That's a bummer. I was hoping for some moss or something cool. It's alright, though. First of many, right? So, after running all the optional updates I could find from AMD, including one that was like a media chipset thing or something like that, which I had really hoped would help, still no dice. It's all unknown, and it's super frustrating because I know that it was working, with Windows 10, everything, it's not like anything fundamentally changed. The biggest difference now, why are you going back in there, dude? There we go. Okay, mission accomplished. Now you guys can do whatever you want. Oh. Give me back my boat. Sorry, that seems so quiet without the rain. So now I'm kind of at a loss. I could easily fix, there's so many frustrating levels to it. One, it works just fine if I plug in the headset. Like I said, in theory I could do that, but I really wanted to test the audio before I get into any kind of configuration setup stuff for the recordings, because I don't want to waste all that time. And here I've wasted hours again today on another stupid driver dependency thing. And, if the system would just automatically accept those drivers from ASUS, that'd be one easy solution, right? Okay, yeah, you're good to go. Or if my monitor had... He's just gonna go until he kills himself, I think. Or if my monitor had either... If my video card had two HDMIs, that would fix it. If the old monitor had a headphone jack, that would fix it. Then I could just plug in the speaker, just the two, not the subwoofer, but the two speakers could go into that. That's good enough for me. I'd be okay. But that doesn't seem to be working. And now it's really a question of, do I spend endless hours going to increasingly shady sites to try to, find a in-between driver package thing that would bridge the gap and let my system once again recognize something that it used to know and work with just fine. Or, do I settle? Do I just go get some new audio card and replace it and hope it fits with this board, and then force Windows, if it's new enough, then the developer, the company, whoever makes the card, if I went that route, Windows 10 would just, probably automatically recognize it, plug and play. Boom, you're up, you're good, and everything's happy there. That's another possible solution, but that seems like wasteful money when I know everything worked in the... All right, if everything works in the past, it should work again. But how many endless hours do you want to throw at chasing stuff down and around and bandaging together a weird solution that's got all kinds of dependencies and it's always going to be flaky. And all of it just, kind of makes me seethe. And it's the part of system administration I've never really enjoyed. If you can't tell, it's some people love that, and I've talked about it before. I love the puzzle solving stuff. Mine just happens to be more like networky. Um, you know, give me logs and give me components and things where I can dig through and see what the missing piece is. The way Windows handles the drivers and all that, it just, I've had so many of these kinds of experiences that they always kind of drive me. And the worst part is, when I went into the shop, the guy's like, yeah, don't, the awesome part about Windows 10 now is you never need to touch drivers yourself at all, and you shouldn't need to. Everything should just work. And I'm like, except if something is outside of the scope when they, pushed the start button and we're like, all right, yeah, this is all going to be built into that. As soon as you get outside of that, by automating everything else, becomes incredibly difficult to try to manage the rest. All right, we got extra tools. We're gonna roll the dice again here. Um, when I kind of look at it like cars, right? Everybody loves having the modern conveniences and technology and stuff of cars, but as they become more complex and robust, and can manage your phone and do all the rest of it, there's more and more and more dependencies, and it becomes increasingly difficult. I think that was where we just took the cart from. Yep, there's the missing block. Increasingly difficult to we just did all that. To work on them yourself. If you look at like an old school 70s, maybe 80s car, you got like a carburetor, maybe you got some fuel injectors and stuff like that, manual transmission, all those things. And, they're all out there where if you have the time and the inclination, you can take them apart piece by piece and put them back together. And really, if you have the desire and a little bit of know-how, you can fully support your own car. And as we hand over more and more stuff, and cars themselves become these integrated computer circuits where if the computer manages your tire pressure and your oil changes and all that kind of stuff, and that's great, until one of the pieces isn't compatible and doesn't go together well. And then all of a sudden you're hey, this is a fan belt, but the fan belt sensor says that there's still a problem, and you can't get in to tell it that you've already replaced the fan belt. That's kind of what I'm up against at the moment. At least that's my analogy. I don't know if it's. Hey, we found it. All right. First things first. F3. We'll do an F2 for the screenshot, and then bear with me just a second here. I don't even know that we. I haven't even made a cheat sheet for this one yet. File, and you guys don't get to see it because I'm not risking disaster here. So this is going to be vanilla brewed coffee. And we'll spawn question mark icy tundra coast 1 Bruce. And I wrote Tundra. Okay, so that is our spawn note. So the longer we go, we can kind of remember where to try to get back to it. For our, we'll have a base. And we'll have a Skelly Spawner. And that is negative 1795 by negative 1797. That's cool. Oh, sorry. Awesome. All right. Okay, now let's get this out of the way. Let's do this one more time because I still haven't checked the 20 minutes. I think we can do it. We'll have to find our way back. So, what do we do when we're converting out a spawn farm or a spawner into a farm? First thing is we want to go the 9x9 cube. So this level is the middle, and this level is the middle. So we want to have everything. So you don't count this, or you do, but 4 up. So it's basically you need to take out everything one more block. And that will give us all the cobble from this little area, which is nice. And I should, since we're not going to come back in here, just go ahead and take anything that we can get to from here. Much nicer thing to be able to do with diamond tools and all kinds of enhancements, but no problem there. Manage. Take down this side. Just put up a couple torches around the edge here. The one thing I didn't bring is you want to have like a carpet or glass. We have glass, so we'll probably use a glass block. You want to put something on top of here just to prevent anybody spawning on top of the spawner and getting stuck. Right? We don't want to have that. Like I said, since this will eventually be the top of a very hostile dark room, go ahead and clear all the goodies we can out of it. Just saying, some diamonds would be fine to discover in the wall here. Really salvage this futile episode, but we've had fun. I needed to get away, and I was like, there's no way I'm gonna, just spend my entire morning banging away on a stupid driver compatibility issue and then not go right into a game I've been looking forward to. That should be fun. Still frustrated, wondering what the next steps are and all that. Hey, probably get resolved. It's really, for me now, it's just a dilemma of, is the money to just go get a new card and seed it worth the, at this point it will be hours of researching and uh, trying to come up with. Oh, we didn't go back here enough. Almost okay. And if you mess up on any of these, it's not the end of the world. It's just, like our dark room spawner, it's going to negatively impact the efficiency. And if you've got it here, you want to use it. All we're really doing now is using the spawn mechanics for the the spawners themselves, which say they will attempt to place mobs into this 9x9 area. So we've given full access to it, and when it darkens, then all of these will have the ability to spawn skeletons at any of these blocks. We're going to take this one away by covering it up. Let's go get the couple items we want. Oh, now can I find my way back? Shoot. Breadcrumb it. Laugh if you like. Cool. Okay, so till we get. Okay, so it is very hard to back around the back there. All right, good, good, good. We'll go get our. Few items here. What do we do with all that glass? There it is. So I think this will. Let's bring all the glass. Do I have any? Ooh, sounded painful. Um, let's go ahead and make some slabs too. That's way more than we would need, but will help us out a little bit in terms of killing. We want. Space, most of all. This part kind of redundant, I think, because this will all be, eventually I would, if we keep using this and, I'll get that far and everything, um, I would just as soon lift and then drop the skeletons, but it's also nice to have just a chest to dump everything into so we don't have to deal with it, which means we need one piece of carpet. Oh, here we can switch that for that. Take that downstairs. All right, we got our water to move them. We've got plenty of blocks to build them in. We've got some glass for windows. Now that we've got coal, let's do. Oh man, I don't wait for all that. Let's sleep. We're running out of time. Uh, so they're all going to spawn 2 buckets of water in the corners, push them forward, drop the floor to move them into the killing hole. I think we'll turn that around. We'll drop them into a hole. Oh, do we need a sign to stop the water? Maybe. I don't really think so. But we'll bring them just in case. Anytime working with water kind of stuff, that's not a horrible idea. Can I cook this sand now? Because I kind of, like to make this into a... Oh, this was the whole point of that. Kind of like to set it up for how we want it to function. From the start, right? Okay, now that was our... Don't need to do... We don't need to do the crazy confusing corner if we just come right through here. All this can go away, but that's important. We may want to use some of this. What I'm trying to do now is align that wall back here. And I think what we'll do... First things first, let's get glass on top of there. That should prevent anybody spawning on top of here, right? That's a transparent block, so they can't spawn on it. Then... dig down. Some more gold. It's weird that this one is so short. Am I... 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Never hurts to double check. Oh, we still got more on this side. And, but these are 1, 2, 3, 4. The whole ceiling's up. The worst is I filled in blocks on this wall. Okay. There. There. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 up. 3 more down below that. So, we're very good here. And now we're just going to drop this floor down another 4, which... let's do an edge. Hey, we got some mossy though. First mossy, yay! I just don't want these torches ending up so high that I have to jump for them. I'm cleaning things up. The other piece we need to remember here is exit. Let's go. Nope, not that far. Switch that out here. That should get us out when we're done. These should become good enough. Ooh. And we might as well darken a little bit of that as we go. Okay, so we always got to remember this wall here is going to be the one where ultimately we're going to be hanging out because it faces back towards the base, right? So we'll be hollowed out under there, and that's where we'll probably put in some windows so we can see what's going on inside, all that good stuff. But I think for the elevator area and contraption, sorry, getting a text here. Oh my goodness. Seriously, 3 minutes in, and I'm getting texts from my sister, which apparently there's goal. Reload. Seriously, it's in the second minute. Ah, man. All right, how are we doing? We're probably at an hour too. Very close. All right, well, I apologize, guys. That whole wandering around looking for this, we could have been all set, but obviously we're going to be in a two episode project anyway, so we'll come back in the next one. I'm going to save and quit right here, and thank you guys all. Feels for coming and hanging out with me and listening to me gripe about audio stuff. Again, I've got to work around. We can certainly function in terms of recording and all that, but how that one ends up getting uncoiled, I don't know. We'll figure out. Based on the lack of current stuff, I don't know how many people are still using that card anyway. It may just be that it's time to drop a little bit of cash and throw in a new card, as long as that doesn't then reveal a compatibility thing with the board and all the rest of it going back. So anyhow, not a big deal. This totally helped me clear my head. I'm gonna go watch some soccer. You guys take care, and we'll see you soon. Bye.